Welcome to HorrorScope, where the Earth's deepest mysteries come to life. I'm Hardy Patel, and today, we're taking a journey to Siberia, one of the coldest, most desolate places on Earth. And trust me, the icy weather is the least of our worries. Because out here, in the middle of nowhere, something strange and colossal is at play. Imagine gigantic sinkholes appearing out of nowhere, mysterious craters that have baffled scientists and locals alike. But why? How? And should we be worried? Let's find out. Let's start with the first sighting, back in 2014. Picture it, a group of Russian helicopter pilots on a routine flight over the Yamal Peninsula. They were expecting to see nothing but endless stretches of white, snow-covered tundra. But then, as they looked down, they saw something that would be burned into their memories forever. There, in the middle of the frozen wasteland, was a hole, a massive, gaping crater in the earth. It was perfectly round, almost as if it had been carved by some colossal machine. This wasn't just a small sinkhole. This crater was about 80 meters wide and 60 meters deep, sitting there quietly, ominously, like some doorway into the Earth's core. The pilots had never seen anything like it. And honestly, neither had anyone else. This was the first of its kind. Photos of the crater hit the internet, and the world was captivated. Scientists raced to the site, hoping to uncover what was happening. But before they could even begin their studies, more craters started appearing across the landscape. Dozens of them, as if the frozen ground was erupting, one chasm at a time. These giant sinkholes weren't just popping up in the same area either. Some were on the Yamal Peninsula, while others were showing up hundreds of miles away. The phenomenon had everyone on edge. People asked themselves, is Siberia breaking apart? So, what's causing these enormous craters to appear out of nowhere? The most accepted theory points back to something we're all familiar with: climate change. Beneath Siberia's permafrost, a thick layer of permanently frozen ground, lies pockets of methane gas. As temperatures rise thanks to global warming, this permafrost begins to thaw, creating the perfect storm. As the ice melts, that methane gas, trapped for tens of thousands of years, builds up pressure under the surface. It's like a soda can being shaken. And then, when the pressure becomes too much, boom! The ground explodes, creating these massive craters. It's as if the Earth itself has a built-up gas problem. Quite literally. Now, while climate change is the leading explanation, there are still a lot of unanswered questions. For instance, why does this phenomenon only seem to be happening in certain areas of Siberia? And why do some craters appear so smooth, while others look jagged and violent, almost as if something clawed its way out? That's where the local legends come in. The indigenous Nenets people, who have lived on this land for centuries, have their own explanation. According to their folklore, these sinkholes are the work of powerful underground spirits, angered by human activity and the changing environment. They believe the holes are portals or gateways, not just to other places but possibly to the spirit world. To them, these craters are a warning, a sign that nature's balance has been disrupted. And honestly, can you blame them? If you're walking across the tundra one day and the ground beneath you suddenly gives way into a bottomless pit, you might start questioning reality too. Scientists have been trying to get to the bottom of this. They've sent drones down into the craters to map their structures, collected soil samples, and measured the methane levels escaping from them. What they found was actually quite alarming. The methane concentration near these craters is astronomically high, about 1,000 times higher than normal levels in the atmosphere. And methane is a powerful greenhouse gas, meaning that as these craters open up and release more methane, they could actually accelerate the process of global warming. So, these sinkholes aren't just the result of climate change, they're potentially fueling it, in a kind of vicious cycle. It's a dangerous loop, and we're only beginning to understand the consequences. But here's what really keeps people on edge: these craters are still forming. New ones have been discovered as recently as 2020, and scientists believe that there could be more on the way. The big question now is, how many more? And could this phenomenon start appearing in other parts of the world? So there you have it, the mystery of the Siberian sinkholes. A natural reaction to a warming planet, or something more mysterious? Either way, these gaping holes in the frozen tundra are leaving scientists and locals with more questions than answers. I mean, we've got exploding ground, ancient spirits, and enough methane to fuel a small city. What more could you want from a good mystery? It makes you think, doesn't it? Maybe it's time we start paying a little more attention to what's happening beneath our feet. Because if there's one thing we can learn from these sinkholes, it's that the Earth has a way of reminding us who's really in charge. So, what do you think? Is this a ticking time bomb, fueled by climate change? Or are the Nenets right? Are we angering something far more ancient and powerful? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know. And before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next dive into the strange and unknown here on HorrorScope. If you liked this episode, give it a thumbs up, and maybe share it with someone who needs a little reminder to stay on solid ground. Until next time, stay curious, and remember to watch where you step.